I just got home from seeing The Woman in the Yard. I only saw the trailer once and it was more like a teaser. I did not know the plot line of this movie. My friend wanted to see it more than I did, so I went in completely blind. So I guess an easy premise is a woman and her children are at home in the middle of nowhere, seemingly, and there is a creepy figure in their yard. And obviously, she's ominous, and there's some nefarious things going on that she has in mind. This movie is hard to talk about without giving spoilers, not so much plot line, but I think it's more of a movie to talk about and talk about what it means. There are individual things in the movie that are a little confusing, but I don't think those things are as important as what the movie signifies. It is an interesting movie overall. It is kind of a slow burn. I will say a lot of these scenes made me dizzy. There's a push and pull that they do. There's a lot of jump scares with sound that are so loud that I didn't love. But there is some cool imagery. There's some creative imagery. The figure, you can't see much, but it's actually not what I expected. This might be the slightly more spoilery kind of part. I do think the symbolism in this movie, we get things about depression, um, harm, or the thoughts of harm, maybe how to deal with that, how you don't realize you're going through something, how you may not realize you're grieving, how you may not realize you are harming your family, and therefore like, something about you is bleeding into your family, and how that is often not talked about, understood, especially in different communities. Mental health is not prioritized, or you just don't know what to do about it. And I do think the movie touches on those aspects, and you get to see it in a more realistic, but not too crazy kind of way. It is a supernatural horror movie. Is it going to be on my top 10 list? Probably not, but it's not an awful time. I also do think it's something you could wait on, but it's not the worst movie ever. Just to get something that's a little creative, um, as far as this figure and what she represents, and starting a conversation about the other symbolism that I won't get into too much in other movies that it may be like. Let me know if you've seen it or if you plan to see The Woman in the Yard. More spoilery thoughts and a little bit more about the mental health aspect of this movie, some of the symbolism. I haven't seen any reviews of this. I just saw it at the first showing Thursday night. My friend and I do think that the woman in black could symbolize a few different things. We could say it is her shadow self, perhaps. It could be the Grim Reaper, but more than anything, we think it is the physical manifestation of her depression and her grief. Obviously, the woman was already depressed before moving into this home with her family. Her husband mentions that she needs to dig deeper because she wasn't happy when they were in the city. Now they are in the country. She's still not happy, but I don't think she's aware that she is depressed, and it is something she will have to work on as it is a chronic condition, and especially in this community. Um, it's not something that is always sought after, or you don't really know what's wrong with you. And it's one of those things where you see no matter where you go, you are still unhappy because it's something within. It is not something external that can just naturally get you out of that place, even if you have the love and support from your family and friends, which can make it better. But there are still dark thoughts, as we see. The prayer in the movie was not actually a prayer to be strong, but a prayer to have the will to end it all, which we understand that how it feels when you are thinking of end of life things, thinking the world would be a better place without you. Your loved ones would be a better place, in a better place without you in their lives, which of course isn't true. But that is the trick, right? So I appreciate this movie for touching on that in a sensitive way. We see the mom snap at the kids quite a bit, which is true. Mothers be snapping. But it happens. Doesn't mean it's okay. The children in this movie were a little annoying at times, but I also understand how the son was trying to make some executive decisions as kind of like the man in the house, because the mother was not totally caring for them in her grief. They were getting the short end of the stick. But overall, again, not a scary movie, but I do appreciate what it did. And for a Blumhouse movie, they've been a little hit or miss the last few years. This won't end up in my top 10, but I definitely can appreciate this movie for what it is.